We want to talk to you about expanding access to clinical. We're going to do this based on a study of our work with Therapy for You, Partnership University Trust. So I'm really thankful to have Hannah, the digital service lead, on the call with me to co-present. So I just wanted to start by talking to you about how the partnership has worked to date. So in spring of last year, the previous digital lead came to us with a challenge about really wanting an online referral platform. Overnight, once we went live in December of that year, 35% of all referrals moved to using Limbic Access. And to Rachel's presentation earlier, it really just highlights the importance of giving people choices in how they want to access therapeutic care. In this year, we've commenced some partnership work with UCR partners and also Care City, and that's really to support an independent evaluation and work in partnership towards a future implementation as well. We're currently looking at our secondary product, which is Limbic Care. We'll go into more detail in that in just a moment. And we're hoping to launch that in winter 2023, this year, or the beginning of next year. So without further ado, I'd like to start by taking you through a bit more information on exactly what we did with Limbic Access. So for anyone who's not familiar with Limbic at all, Limbic Access is our self-referral and e-triage chatbot. And I'll hand over to Hannah to talk to you about what the journey was for Essex.
Thanks, Chaellene. So as Chaellene's already mentioned, obviously early 2022, my predecessor, Richard, he came to Limbic to see how we could look at changing the way patients refer into our service, because as everyone here probably knows, it requires significant administration time to go through those sort of traditional referral routes. We were very clear on sort of three aspects. So we needed it to be an online process. We wanted more than a static form. We wanted to really amplify the current assessment pathway. We needed more detail. We needed more engagement. We wanted to get more out of that so that the sort of assessment process could be streamlined. We needed it to be flexible. We have several different pathways into our service, and we wanted it to support triage into our other treatment options, like our partnership with our ESO and our online platform Omnitherapy. So we needed it to sort of combine all of those aspects. And we needed to be engaging. As we know, patient experience is paramount. So we wanted to make service users feel engaged. We wanted to try and make our service more accessible. We wanted to sort of break down some of those barriers to people getting into treatment, and you know, seeing where that goes. So this is a little flow of what it might look like for somebody accessing our service through that digital front door. So as you can see in these sort of pink boxes, people would go through an initial eligibility check. So that's sort of checking their date of birth, checking that they're registered with their GP within sort of our patch, checking things like do they require translators? Do they require, what's their sort of first spoken language? What other things that might they require sort of at assessment or at a later date, looking at things like long-term conditions, disabilities, etc. So that we've got all of that sort of required mandatory fields that are coming into the service nice and smoothly. Then we look at sort of adding some of more of those more specific IAPT sort of intake information, looking at sort of demographics, etc. And then it goes through the clinical module, which asks the minimum data set, all of that information that takes a lot of time at assessment. And we have recently added the ADSM arm onto our Limbic Access model, which we'll talk about a little bit as we go through. And as you can see, it says our chatbot offers 93% predictive accuracy through the ability to administer the ADSM. That's something that we are sort of waiting to see what happens, as we've only recently added the ADSM arm. So we just wanted to show you a little bit of an example of what it looks like as somebody kind of comes through the digital front door, the Limbic Access model. As you can see, it might be a bit small, but you can see that sort of chat starting to form there, coming from Limbic, prompting the patients as to what the next steps are. And as you'll see, this sort of integrates nicely with our website. We wanted to make sure that it did really reflect all the work that we've done on our website and opening up those options for therapy. So it shows you all the different things that are available before it takes you into the sort of official assessment. So it allows people to opt for omnitherapy. It allows people to refer out onto IESO if they prefer. So really increasing that access. And I suppose proof is in the pudding. So performance so far, we've noticed we've had around 6,500 referrals since we went live in December 22. 56% of all our referrals have come via Limbic Access since that time, which is huge. We were not expecting such an explosion of referrals. It happened quite quickly overnight, and it wasn't what we expected. There's been no campaigning at all for the use of Limbic Access in our service. This is all generated from traffic to the website. We've had nearly 2,500 referrals out of hours. And year on year, we've had an increase in 6.5 in total referrals, which is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And there's some quotes as well here.
Yeah, so this, sorry, Chaellene, did you want me to take this one?
No, please do, please do.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So this is obviously what people have had to say about their experience with Limbic Access. We've had a lot of great feedback. People like the staggered approach. They like the text chat. It helps them to think. It helps them to sort of conceptualize what they want to share with us. People say that they would have struggled to articulate themselves to a stranger over the phone. So it gives them that first opportunity to share their thoughts and their feelings before their assessment. And they love the language. So it's very comforting. It's very chatty. It feels very personable. And that's what we've heard people say.
Awesome. And just to bring that back to our original title of this, which was around increasing access. So the 24/7 online referral route is really, really important. That's something that we see across our services, usually about 40% of all referrals happening outside of that 9 to 5 period, if the only other option is a phone line. We also see increased access for minority groups. We're expecting the same here in Essex, actually, and I think there's some early indications that might have happened with the non-binary group already. Again, that's very typical of what we see in other services, increasing that access from minority groups who may feel less comfortable to speak to a stranger over the phone, or actually find the triage element really useful in terms of supporting self-realization of some issues that they might be going with. And then thirdly, increasing access by providing a really interactive and engaging first interaction with mental health services, which therefore reduces the dropouts before assessment and before starting therapy. So if you want to know any more about Limbic Access, please visit our website. I also wanted to really quickly talk to you about our secondary product, Limbic Care. So we're in very early days of scoping this with the Essex group, but we have formed a clinical advisory group. We have started to work with UCL partners, and it's all around how we can use a patient-facing mobile app to really prompt engagement and to promote psychological awareness before somebody starts their treatment sessions. So it's built up of a patient app and also some clinical dashboards as well to configure content that's going to go to the patient's mobile phone. Some features include the type of content that can be delivered is completely configurable. The app uses the same kind of risk monitoring and signposting that we have available in Limbic Access. And then we have those clinical and admin dashboards to be able to configure, but also see exactly what's going on across the population of patients. And finally, what we're trying to get to with Essex on Limbic Care is really increasing access by reducing the dropouts that often happen before somebody starts treatment, increasing access by supporting patients with their recovery. And doing this well and having a really engaging process for this, we should see a reduction in the number of sessions perhaps that are required for somebody to reach recovery. So really minimizing the number of human resources needed, and also improving patient experience by engaging people outside of their sessions and improving psychological awareness. Again, loads of information on our website, or please do contact us. Thank you.